What's up, people? Thank you for tuning in. We're back again. Hope you guys had a great week. We're going to end your week the right way this Thursday. Thank you guys for all your support each week. Definitely appreciate all of you. Don't take it for granted. Share this with your friends. I have my guy back today, Chris Handles Franklin. Glad to have you back on the set with me, man. On Monday, we're just going to hop right into it. On Monday, we kind of, I gave Chris a chance to introduce himself, share some things about his life, upbringing. Got a chance for the viewers and all of you to get acquainted with who he is. Today, we just want to, just talk about what's going on today. As all of you know, I always try to provide content, dealing with the issues of today, providing solutions. It's one thing to talk about the problem, Chris, and we got enough people talking about the problems. We got enough people talking about the issues all over social media. But I'm a person who always tries to come up with solutions. So today we're going to talk about, first of all, Chris. Let's talk about inner city America. And you born and raised in Harrisburg community, inner city, Hall Manor, which you mentioned on Monday. Let's talk about the plight and the situation that our youth are dealing with, the things they're faced against. Now, think about it, Chris. What we dealt with, and what you dealt with years ago, it's even a new type of opposition when you talk about the pandemic, kids being home in the inner city, mom and dad moms is working 2 jobs, they taking care of their siblings. So they have new challenges, not even in school, virtual. So Chris, thinking of all of this, what would you say are some things we can do as a community to help our youth in the inner city?
I think there are a number of things, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, they're dealing with a lot of things that we didn't have to growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the emergence of the internet. Growing up, I might have I got picked on in school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least when I went home, it stopped.
Yeah.
With the emergence of the internet, I mean, you may be getting picked on 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of things that kids deal with today, peer pressure, is not just in school,
mm-hmm.
or not just in the community. With the emergence of the internet, peer pressure can be something that's around the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that brings a lot of issues. But I think that's why we have to get back to the strengthening of the family, mm-hmm. and the strengthening of our kids.
Mm-hmm.
When I say we have to get back to that adage, it takes a village to raise our kid. To raise a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've gotten away from it entirely too much. So that's why I love what you're doing. You're helping to build young leaders, mm-hmm. and that's what we need. We need young leaders to help for kids to think that doing the right thing is the cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one aspect. There are a number of things that should be and could be done, but that's one. 2, I think we have to prepare the kids, mm-hmm. for today's society.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes our schools aren't preparing kids how to be successful in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these things have to be overhauled. We have to look at it and redevelop for our kids to be successful.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the schools are, because I worked in inner city, Harrisburg High School for 4 years. I was a teacher at the high school, and one of the things I've noticed, Chris, they didn't have textbooks. There were classes that didn't have textbooks. Textbooks didn't arrive until mid-year.
Mm-hmm.
The resources were lacking, and I'm not just putting Harrisburg out there. This is reflective of across the board as far as inner city schools.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to the education piece, education isn't everything. Education goes beyond school, but kids are in school 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that's the majority of their day. So getting back to what you're saying, we got to educate our young people better. We got to do better when it comes to resources, funding in inner cities. The funding is lacking in inner cities, the school systems, by the millions. You know, I don't know the exact stat, but I read something where the inner city schools are underfunded, like by the millions per year. So that dealing with that in and of itself is an uphill battle, and then you tack on the fact that, you know, we have dysfunctional homes where, again, mom is working 2 or 3 jobs, and shout out to the moms out there. The moms are, a lot of moms are holding it down in inner cities. Shout out to you, but mom is working till midnight, so you got a 15-year-old teenager taking care of his siblings who are 5 and 6 years old. Make sure they get dinner. The 15-year-old needs to be parenting himself. So it's just, and I'm just piggyback on what you were saying about the family unit being so important, and then getting to the education part. So anything else you want to add to that, Chris, that I was saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why it's equally important for our strong, especially a lot of our strong positive male figures to come back and give back as much as they can. You know, I mean, there's so many people that helped rear me that wasn't my mother and my father. I mean, I think that we can do a better job as leaders going back and helping these kids a lot more than we do. And if it wasn't for people in the community stirring me and keep me on that right path, I may have veered off. So I mean, I just think it's important for us to be able to start coming together really and helping these kids out as much as we can. I mean, I think you're absolutely correct. I think there are people out there doing an amazing job, but I mean, everyone could use help. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. You know.
Yeah. So now going off of that, and obviously another sensitive topic of today, you know, dealing with, you know, racial injustice, social injustice, racial issues. And I've had other people on. We've discussed it. I've had some of my good white friends on. We've discussed it. You know, just talking about different things. You know, solutions. Not getting into pointing the fingers, but some things we can do to help. And Chris, I want to ask your perspective because you've been around the world and back again. You've been to 84
countries.
84 countries. So you've had the opportunity to rub elbows with not just a lot of pro athletes, but also just top officials, different people in different countries, different ethnic groups, different people who come from maybe different social statuses. What do you think, Chris? Because let me say this, because when I was in other countries, the countries I've been to, they figure it out. You know, a lot of them, they don't have as much of the, some of them I've been to, as much of the racial tension. Now, Australia did between the white people and the Aborigines people. Australia did. Kind of similar to us, but like, and what I want to get to, what do you think, based on what you've seen, your experiences, what are some things we can do as a people, as a nation, that can help the cause? You see what I'm saying?
Well, there's a couple things. One, like you said, there's some places I've been where, right here in the U.S., where I am the first and only black person they've ever seen, right?
Wow.
So a lot of times, people's perception of what you are or what you're supposed to be are what they get from television. I never forget one of our, we were doing this stage show in the middle of Missouri, and each show was packed, sold out, 3 shows a day for a month. Every show sold out, and at the end we would sign autographs. And one of our heads had came up to me and said, "This is amazing. Like, a lot of these people never seen somebody black before, and you're showing them that we're all the same people." I think it's about bridging the gap. I think, man, it's about time. We're so divided and so polarized right now. It's a time for healing. It's a time for love. Like, you can keep hating this way and hating this way and hating everybody and mad at this and mad at that. I mean, I truly believe it's a time for healing. It's a time to galvanize. It's a time to bring people together. And that's a tough thing, man. And a lot of it is empathy. I mean, the lack of empathy right now is at an all-time high. I mean, it's so disheartening. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be female, right?
Right.
But if a female told me that she felt some type of way, I may not understand not being female, but I can empathize with her plight.
Right, right.
And that goes with anybody. And I think nowadays, it's so sad, the lack of empathy. Like, I mean, a lot of things as growing up as a black man, we go through things every day that we, you know, it's second nature to us.
Yeah.
It's things that are unfortunate situations that, you know, we have to succeed despite these situations that happen. But it's really a sad thing when you see. I just think sometimes it's sad when people can't understand your plight but won't empathize with your plight.
Right.
And I think that's the important key word is empathy. Understanding what others may be going through, even if you're not going through it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. Not sympathy, but empathy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not sympathy, you know, like you're being sympathetic just because I'm down. Empathy means, there's a difference. Empathy means coming alongside you to understand. You see what I'm saying? I think it's what you're saying. Come alongside. I may not have experienced it. I may be ignorant to it. But empathy means I want to come alongside you so that I can understand you. So that then we can actually walk and grow together. I think a lot of people don't want to grow together. You know, and again, it's sad because we're not going to get anywhere. And I think, to be honest, Chris, I think the biggest culprit or instigator, for lack of a better term, in all of this is social media. Social media, Chris, everybody's on social media now. So everything that happens gets posted immediately. And everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an experience. And what they do is they blast it on social media, and then everybody sees it. And then all of a sudden, your paradigm stays the same, or it even increases in it even more to the negative. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I mean, I think social media is literally designed that way. So I mean, if you think one way and you have one perspective, the things that you'll get on your feed will be things from that perspective. You know.
Right.
And that's it's definitely not helping the situation. So I mean, I think it's tough, man. It's tough. I just see, you know, no matter what you believe or how you believe, you know, there's some things that you can just agree with that is wrong. You know, like, like that's wrong. You know, and then I mean, it's just sometimes I'll see something and it amazes me how it'll be somebody maybe I went to high school with or something, and I'm looking at their perspective, and it's just so completely different than mine. So I mean, I don't know. I just think we're just so far apart, and it's a time for healing. It's a time for us to come together.
Yeah, and I want to get to also, Chris, because I know you do a lot of things in the community. You've done it for years, work with the youth. Tell us about your foundation. Tell us a little bit more about that. I know we talked about a little bit Monday, but let's get into a little bit more of your foundation, what you're doing with the kids, and your vision as far as where you want to go from here. Let's do that. Give the viewers some ideas about that.
Well, I mean, I think like you spoke upon, I'm about solutions, right? So I believe that we can talk about the problem till we're blue in the face. What are some solutions? And that's how I attack things. So one thing, I think that kids aren't active the way we were. I loved, I would stay on the basketball court from the beginning, from early morning to late at night. I would go to different basketball courts in the community. I would play ball outside. So that's been a goal of mine. Renovating basketball courts and redoing these basketball courts. And it's something that you can do and see a tangible difference. I mean, the first court we did, I joined with, at 4th and Emerald, they were trying to get this part fixed. Jason Johnson and Duke Burnett's and the Ray Johnsons in the Uptown area were doing an amazing job trying to get this court done. And I worked alongside them, man. We were able to redo that basketball court in Coach Campbell's name with a mural in the middle, glass backboards. We resurfaced, new fencing, new LED lighting. That was the first basketball court I did. Okay. And when we completed that court, it was packed every day.
Yeah.
We then went ahead and did one dedicated to Coach Des Mangus at Reservoir Park. Same thing, court packed every day. I was able to go back to my old neighborhood of Edgemont and redo those basketball courts, and those courts are packed. So I mean, that's me seeing an issue or a problem. Kids aren't as active, and if you're playing ball, you're probably not getting in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's giving kids a healthy outlet of positivity. It's been positive in my life, so it's something I try to duplicate, and I'm looking to continue to do that. So that's one aspect. We hand out turkeys and dinners every Thanksgiving. During the Christmas season, we donate gifts and give away gifts. We help feed the homeless, and we give away coats, hats, scarves, socks, toiletries. We do it every year. So it's just things that when we see an issue or we see a problem, we try to solve those problems. And that's what my foundation's been about. When I got back during the pandemic, we tried to stimulate local business by buying the food from 2 different restaurants that we felt were struggling, and taking those meals and feeding essential workers at a local, what do you call it? Not a hospital, but old folks home.
Okay.
Like
I know you're talking about.
I got a blank spot.
Yeah.
But with feeding essential workers, people who had to go to work every day during the pandemic, just showing that we care and just trying to add positivity within the community, and that's what we've been focused upon.
Yeah, that's some great stuff, and a lot of things you're doing, Chris. I want the viewers to know this. Like, it's really about. And you're not looking. I know, Chris. I know your heart. You're not looking for fame, fortune. But one word that comes to mind when I see what you're doing and hear you elaborate on it is legacy. And I believe your legacy. Things you're doing, things you're establishing. You've established You've reconstructed basketball courts in different neighborhoods. So because of that. Now, even though in your absence, there's positivity taking place in your absence. So you don't have to be there. That's what legacy is about. Legacy is about leaving a trail for the next generation in your absence. You see what I'm saying? That's another different definition of legacy. And I can see how you're actually doing it. I want to commend you for that, man, and keep striving, keep climbing. And I know you are. But it's just great to see what you're doing and the people that you're impacting. Last thing, Chris, before we wrap it up here, you do a basketball camp too every summer.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about the camp and the summer camp you do. I know this year was a little different because of the pandemic and the restrictions, but tell us a little bit about the basketball camp.
Also one that also came out of, in my opinion, came out of need or necessity. Once I started to do some things nationally, after my very first Nike commercial, I came home and I started this camp. I wanted to make doing the right thing the cool thing to do. So I came up with this basketball camp with my partner, A-Train, Arnold Bernard, who's a New York City ball player.
Yeah.
Great ball player in his own right. Also played 6 years with the Harlem Globetrotters, but a New York City legend. So we started this basketball camp that focused not only on basketball, but even more importantly on when the kids aren't playing ball, they had to go to these classes, these breakout rooms, learning about leadership, about character development, all these different things. So it's not just a basketball camp, it's one that's building well-rounded individuals and leaders. And throughout the years, man, so many people have been to the camp. It's almost 20 years of basketball camp I've had in the community. And this year was special, man, because, with the situation, we were almost forced to not have our camp. So we got creative and we did it virtually. And we put up the money. We made it free for all of the kids. They received a free basketball, cones to do the drills, a t-shirt, a mask, hand sanitizer. They had their whole kit, a book bag, all free for 100+ kids. I think we ended up with 130 kids. Wow. From all over. And a good friend, amazing person, Rod Strickland, who's an NBA legend, 17 years in the NBA. Last day he spoke to the kids. Then we got a surprise, Kyrie Irving spoke to the kids. That was such an amazing experience for me. And Rod has been such a great mentor and friend to me over the years. So it was great to have them at the camp. And it's great to be able to have a lot of the kids from the camp just to see. I see how a teacher must feel because you see the greatness that these kids go on to do. And even, when the camp gets tiring, it's like, I don't know if I want to do it this year. You see the success of the kids and it makes you, it energizes you. And it makes you realize how important what you're doing is.
Yeah, that's some amazing stuff, man. I actually saw some of it on social media, on Facebook and stuff, and I just saw the impact that you were having. So, again, man, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. Definitely appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, and this was a great week. We'll continue to, support you, and continue to keep you in our prayers and so forth as you continue to launch out and do different things. I'm sure there's so much more you want to do and accomplish. Thank you for tuning in today. Leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Share with your friends and so forth. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And always remember, someone somewhere is depending on you. All right?
And also, man, before we end, I just want to publicly thank you for what you're doing in our community. Ever since you've been here, man, you've been such a positive and inspiring person in our community, and what you've done sometimes goes unnoticed, man. And I saw what you've done with your program and what you do with these kids, how you develop young leaders. A great friend of mine, my boy CJ, how you help develop him. So I mean, I see what you're doing in our community, and we need more like you, and we need to continue to build. So I'm honored to be on, but even more honored to have you here in our community.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Brother.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Perfect.